bank of the river free of slavery forever. But we left the Old South impoverished and stricken. Doubly stricken. Because besides the tragedy of war, already the frenzied cotton cultivation of a quarter of a century had taken toll of the land. We mined the soil for cotton until it would yield no more, and then moved west. We fought a war, but there was a double tragedy. The tragedy of land twice impoverished. Black spruce and Norway pine, Douglas fir and red cedar, scarlet oak and shagbark hickory, hemlock and aspen. There was lumber in the north. The war impoverished the Old South. The railroads killed the steamboats, but there was lumber in the north. Heads up, lumber on the upper river. Heads up, lumber enough to cover all Europe. Down from Minnesota and Wisconsin, down to St. Paul, down to St. Louis and St. Joe, lumber for the new continent of the West, lumber for the new mill. In 1937, the entire nation sent help to the stricken people of the valley. Congress appropriated millions to aid the flooded cities and villages and to rehabilitate the flood victims. But spring and fall, the water comes down. And for years, the old river has taken a toll from the valley, more serious than ever she does in flood times. Year in, year out, the water comes down. Down from 1,000 hillsides, washing the top off the valley. For 50 years, we dug for cotton and moved west when the land gave out. For 50 years, we plowed for corn and moved on when the land gave out. We planted and plowed with no regard for the future. And 400 million tons of topsoil, 400 million tons of our most valuable natural resource have been washed into the Gulf of Mexico.
Out in Bronson's North 40, they were putting up a giant 10-story derrick they call a rig. The geologist showed us around, and it was like watching a little town take shape. Welders and roustabouts working in the stinging cold, putting up the drilling platform, digging the mud pit, stacking pipe, stringing power lines, working with numbed feet and icy fingers, getting things ready to sink the drilling bit into the frozen earth.
We can get out of the wind in here.
Guess once you start to drill, you're pretty sure of finding oil down there.
We're not sure of anything. In this business, it's always maybe. The only way to find out is to drill.
Ground. Someone is on the ground. I think it's the referee. No, it's not. It's an officer. Don't get panicked, ladies. Don't get panicked, ladies. Nothing will happen. It's only in fun. Look out, keep it clean with phenogene. No feets. What? No job? Well, don't worry. I know what they'll tell you. You're too young, you're inexperienced, you're not in the union, we can't bond you. You've been in trouble. You're not a graduate, we can't use you. But don't worry, don't worry. Old lady will lose her Christmas money, purse will be snatched, some old man will be knocked down, and everybody will wonder why.
So like people, but if they don't see you fight, it's hearsay. That's what they believe it because you're in a club and you wearing a club jacket. That's what you're a thug right away to the public den. You know, but it's some people that realize that that by being in a club, but it can be a good thing, and a club can be a bad thing. Yeah, but you have to start off with the right thing to end up right.
When Carl May started Youth for Service, he realized he could work through the leaders of the jacket clubs.
At first, I went out and looked up these boys on the street. This is John Bird, president of the Warlords, a very important club in San Francisco. I just put it up to them, would they help? I told them we needed them, and it worked because it was the truth.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm Carl May. I'm with the organization. You ever heard of Youth for Service? You know, this is the organization with all the clubs in it, you know, the Warlords and the Sheiks and the Turbans and the Timers and the Aces and the Ravens.
Oh, is this the council that has all the clubs all together?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We'd like to have you guys in. And one of the reasons that we started the council and started Youth for Service is to help out people, old people, sick people, handicapped people. Go in there and do painting jobs for them, or carpenter work, and clean up their places when they need help. And we've got a family now that needs some help, and we want to go there next week, next Saturday. So what do you say?
Yeah, what are we doing next Saturday? You guys want to go?
Will you guys go?
got what is it, streaming banners on the thing.
Where?
On the pier, they have like streaming banners.
On the pier? Yeah, they're to keep the birds away.
When's the grand opening?
Saturday. On Friday and for the public Saturday and Sunday with all the activities.
Aneroid, a special altimeter like those used on airplanes. This aneroid is so sensitive to atmospheric pressure, it registers changes of elevation in inches. This reading is then checked against the altitude figure on the Geological Survey benchmark. These benchmarks, found all over the United States, list elevations for each locality. If the road scout's elevation is at outs with the benchmark reading, he makes a notation of the difference and sends it to the Geological Survey headquarters in Washington. In the meantime, there are many more roads to be covered, so the boys better step on it or they'll never make their deadline. State highway departments and road construction companies also do their stuff in giving much valuable information for keeping maps up to date. This particular symbol, road closed to traffic, means just what it says. When you come up to bad news like that, there's only two things left to do: get a tractor or turn back. Well, here comes someone now. Is he going to be sore when he finds he has to go around by Pumpkinville? Hey, mister, turn around. Nix, you can't do that. Uh-oh, this gent's no tourist. He's the highway superintendent out to see how the new road's shaping up. There are countless men throughout the country just like this highway official who, in gathering data for their own use, contribute much helpful information to the makers of...
Bob accompanies Betty to her place, assisting her with her chair before resuming his survey. He is at least trying to change his habits. And you notice, he forgot his napkin and sat on it. He is serving smoothly now and is not distracting his friends with his difficulties. They are free again to chat as they wish. And once again, the party is fun. Bob and Betty met more problems than they expected. As we are seeing, people like Betty and Bob, who want to entertain their friends and have good times together, forget that poor manners can really interfere with the fun of the party. There is no fun in being worried, unsure, or ill at ease. It is much simpler in the long run to face your problems, find out what the correct answer is, and then when you act in a way that you know for certain is correct, your mind is perfectly free. Of course, all this isn't accomplished just by wishing. There are still habits that have first to be detected and then broken. This is hard. Then new habits have to be formed. But a little study of etiquette will help greatly, and lessons are all practical. Once you have formed correct habits in your manners, you will find that they give you a sense of confidence. That is a reward in itself. Our party is ending, but let's hope that for you it is, in another sense, just a beginning. As you think of Betty and Bob and their problems, compare your own manners. Don't forget that it is by their manners that polite people the world around show their consideration for one another. A dinner party is just one way of enjoying company of your friends. A good meal, good company, real enjoyment, that's what a dinner party is for.
Now the dishes, glasses, and silverware are being brushed and scrubbed by the whirling sprays from the jet tower. As the jet tower spins around, the powerful streaming sprays of hot water cut across the surface of every piece inside, strike the wall of the tub, splash back, and wash down every part of every surface at every level. Hot water, hot cleansing water of between 135 and 145 degrees temperature, assured by the 180-degree booster supply, pressure forced by strong positive action through the tiny holes in the whirling jet tower to scrub and brush and clean dishes more efficiently than ever before. Let's watch the time now. And time's up. And the Youngstown Kitchen's automatic dishwasher has finished the job in 9 3/4 minutes. Just look at those gleaming dishes. Every one sparkling clean and drying in their own heat, assured by the booster hot water supply. Remember how those dishes looked before the dishwasher went to work? Completely covered with the stubbornly resistant dried-on mixture of mustard and egg? Where is that tough, adhesive, dried-on mixture now? Every dish, every glass, every piece of silverware clean and bright. And here is the proof. Proof that the Youngstown Kitchen's automatic dishwasher washes dishes faster, cleaner, and better than any other way. Here is the proof.
Thereby improving the internal structure of the steel. The mill operators have complete control of the operation of the rolls and the movement of the ingot through the mill. After the steel has been passed back and forth between the roll a number of times, the rough form of the eventual cross-section begins to be apparent. The steel is at a temperature high enough to permit rolling in subsequent mills without reheating. After being rolled down in the blooming mill and before it is passed on to the next operation, the ends are cut back to sound metal. The long steel shape is then sheared into lengths convenient for rolling in the structural mills. Each of these lengths is passed back and forth through the various roll stands which constitute these mills. First through the roughing rolls, then through the finishing rolls. As in the blooming mill, each pass results in a reduction in size and an increase in length. The last step before cooling is to cut the 200-foot member to commercial lengths by means of a hot saw. The rolling process has been completed, from ingot to finished product, in about 10 minutes. Many types of rolling mills, differing in size, though similar in character, are used to turn out a wide range of steel products for highways. For the demands of the road builder for these products are as varied as the terrain upon which he must construct your highways. Where the soil is not firm enough to support the roadway, as in marshy areas, the wide flange H-piling is very helpful.
untold centuries, the turbid waters of the Colorado River battered their way through the forbidding canyons of its 1,700-mile course, traversing the arid Southwest. For the most part, little known except to the native Indians and a few parties of intrepid explorers. Draining a vast region of mountain and desert, entering 7 of the largest western states, it poured its waters southward into the Gulf of California, carrying into its delta a tremendous volume of silt, and periodically overflowing the prosperous towns and rich agricultural districts near its mouth with devastating floods. From the time of its discovery, it remained a challenge to engineers who sought to control it, until the enactment in 1928 of the Boulder Canyon Project Act, authorizing the construction of Boulder Dam. In Black Canyon, where the Colorado River forms the boundary between Nevada and Arizona, in the very heart of the great desert of the Southwest, the United States Department of the Interior, through its Bureau of Reclamation, was directed to proceed with the construction of this mightiest of dams. Highways were pushed across the desert. Railroad lines thrust their ribbons of steel through the sagebrush and cactus, and transmission lines for construction power were brought hundreds of miles across the heat-stricken wastelands of the southern Nevada desert. Every section of the country was called upon to contribute to the staggering quantity and wide diversity of materials required. Thousands of tons of steel, millions of barrels of cement, machinery, gasoline and oil by the thousands of gallons, tools, building materials, all these and much more were concentrated at the site of operations in an endless stream. The engineering forces completed their surveys, working under the most hazardous conditions, and every union furnished its quota of laborers and artisans. In what had once been an uninhabited, waterless desert, supporting only a sparse, inhospitable growth of chaparral and cactus, the beautiful little town of Boulder City was built within the short space of 15 months to house the army of 5,000 men to be employed. Here was no construction camp such as was known in the early days of the West. Instead, Boulder City was developed as a model town, furnishing every facility and convenience to its inhabitants. 4 churches, a modern, fully equipped school, and various civic organizations, inlets to the 4 steel penstocks, supplying water to the turbines and outlet valves. Perched on shelves hewn into the canyon walls, they tower 403 feet to an elevation above the crest of the dam and the rim of the canyon. With a combined capacity of 400,000 cubic feet of water per second, the 2 spillways, located one on each side of the canyon upstream from the dam, will serve as high-level controls once the water of the reservoir has risen to its maximum storage elevation. Each spillway is equipped with 4 100-foot drum gates, acting through a vertical dimension of 16 feet. Water flowing over the lowered gates into the spillway basin plunges 600 feet down through the tunnels to re-enter the river downstream from the dam. The Boulder Dam power plant is built in 2 wings, one along each side of the canyon wall at the downstream toe of the dam. The first generator was placed in operation on September 11, 1936. Equipped with 17 generating units, with capacities ranging 40,000 to 82,500 kilovolt amperes, this, the world's largest power plant, is capable of generating 1,835,000 horsepower of electrical energy when operating at its rated capacity. The transmission lines carrying Boulder Dam power radiate in a network from the dam with the major lines serving the Los Angeles metropolitan area. From the takeoff structure located on the roof of the powerhouse, the lines are taken up over the rim of the canyon into the switchyard above, where the most highly specialized and modern developments in the power transmission field are to be found. From the switchyard, the lines travel out across the desert, bringing life to the homes and cities and power to the factories of Southwest. From Parker Dam, 150 miles to the south,
the expanding answer to the challenge of peace. The business of building America is the biggest business in the world, and it will go on always. Returning men like Jim found their place again in the industrial family that serves the nation.
Hiya, fellas. Jim, you old son of a gun, you. How are you, fella? Swell to have you back, Jim. It's swell to be back.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Ed.
Say, when did you get out? About a month ago. Navy always was pretty sharp, you know.
Oh, sure, sure.
That's for sure.
Hey, fellas, didn't you know we had an Army, too? No kidding. You know, we heard rumors about that in the Air Force. Had no proof. You said it, Johnny. Guess it was better than walking. Or swimming.
Welcome back, Jim.
Frankly, sure I'm glad to see you.
I enjoyed those letters, especially that one from Paris.
I bet you never saw anything like Paris in the Navy.
Yeah? Ever been to the South Seas?
Oh.
Jim is a guide setter. Red-hot billets from the furnace pass through a series of roughing stands, where the billet is continually reduced in thickness until it becomes a red-hot rod of metal. Further reduced in thickness, it passes round and round the looping floors through guide after guide, and finally shoots like a javelin to the hotbeds and delivery tables. It requires a skilled, integrated crew to perform the operation successfully.
Always wear light-colored clothing. Drivers then will be better able to see you. A coat of white enamel will make your bike stand out clearly against a dark background. The few patches of white on the average bike do not stand out enough for quick identification. Even though your bike may have a headlight and reflectors, don't depend on the other fellow seeing you. Be extremely cautious at night. Remember, take care of your bike so that when an emergency arises, it can take care of you. Traffic signs and traffic regulations are really safety devices and safety rules and should be carefully obeyed. For your own protection, give the proper arm signals when stopping or turning. Always be alert, especially when entering the street or at intersections. An automobile can't stop on a dime either. Don't be a clown or a show-off on your bike. You are inviting injury or death.